Adonis Catering looks after a lot of elite athletes. Not just elite, but from ballerinas to super heavyweight professional wrestlers to figure competitors to the country's best soccer players to AFL footballers. There isn't an athlete we can't look after. For me, Adonis Kitchen is allowing us to teach athletes how to cook and fend for themselves. The premise of Adonis Kitchen is to allow them to come to me with their issues and their problems with how they eat, which is such an important part of their day-to-day, and to be selected and to be their best. Gino Gambino, look, he's been my best mate. I've known him before he was Gino Gambino. Before he was a professional wrestler. We've been on each other's journeys because we've always looked out for each other. We're best mates, very much like brothers. We're the reality check of each other's lives. So whenever I need an ass kicking or he needs an ass kicking, we're that person in each other's lives that sort of does it. So the dish we wanted to do was salmon. We've got beautiful salmon today. Kia ora salmon from New Zealand is some of my favourite farmed, best aquaculture water for salmon. He loves salmon. We've travelled together extensively. We've lived together extensively. There was even this one time in Japan, in Tokyo, where we actually shared a bed for 2 weeks in our first trip to Tokyo together. If you ever travel with Gino Gambino, don't ever allow him to book the accommodation because you're going to end up sharing a bed with him. I'm not going to talk about that anymore.
Hi, I'm Gino Gambino, super heavyweight wrestler and broadcaster for New Japan Pro Wrestling. I've been the Triple Crown champion in Australia and spent a lot of my time overseas wrestling professionally across the world. Show day can be quite interesting. We need a lot of protein and carbs to get through the day, so high volume and a lot of nutrition to keep us fit and healthy for those important matches. Chef Petros and I have been best mates for over 20 years now. I've worked alongside him in a lot of different projects, and it's great now to be part of Adonis Catering on a professional level. I would rate myself as a fairly okay cook. I try my best to just get what I need, but with time restraints now, I'm hardly cooking at home. So Chanko Nabe is a recipe that's derived from the old sumo wrestling dojo days. It's now been passed on through wrestling schools throughout the world, and it's a really highly nutritious, high protein, high carb, high salt, high everything to make sure that you are fueled up and ready for your day of training.
So, Chanko Nabe.
Yes.
It's my best Japanese. So I'm very excited.
It's something. You tried your best.
I tried. So, Chanko Nabe it's a big boy soup, let's be honest.
It is.
So, for a big boy soup, you need to make a big boy stock. So, all those white fish bones we kept from before, that's in here now. I got some salmon bones as well. We're going to go through the salmon in a couple of minutes. But it's a really pure stock. Anytime you make stocks and brodos and stuff like that, you want to keep it as pure as possible. So, I'm not going to add. Stock's not a rubbish bin. It's you put things in there that's going to affect flavor for the positive. So garlic and leek, the greens of the leek, the tops of the leeks, is what we're going to use first. You can use dill stalks if you want as well. They're in there too. It also keeps, by putting all your vegetables in on top of your proteins, whether it's chicken bones or fish bones or whatever, you're keeping all your bones down.
Oh, okay.
So it's like a weight.
That's a good idea.
Because sometimes it floats. Always start your stocks from cold. And I'm going to start it on boil. I'm going to bring it up to a boil. I'm going to skim it and then drop it to a simmer. And that's when the timing starts, about half an hour, 40 minutes. When this comes up to the boil, we're going to skim all the scum off, like you do with every stock. And we're going to put in, you talked about sodium. I'm very glad you brought up sodium. So a natural thing of using sodium, when this comes up to the boil, this is seaweed, dried seaweed. It's salty, lick it, go on. But it's seaweed. You're an idiot. I'm going to let that come to the boil, and you're going to see this. It's going to go very seaweed looking. So we've got all these beautiful little mushrooms here. We can do a lot of really fresh, delicious things with it. So we're going to shave some wombok. Just want this as crunchy bits later. On that plate there, we've got some finely sliced leeks. These little mushrooms here, all I've done with these shiitake is I've just sliced them nice and fine. The oysters, I don't even touch them with a knife. I'm just pulling them. And because you're going to pour hot broth over it, it's sort of going to cook it. So this is just coming up to the boil now, right? I want it to like almost rapid boil, but you can already see some of this scum and foamy stuff. This is sheet. It's like we're gonna skim it all off.
Well, look, in wrestling, you exert a lot of energy. You spend a lot of your time training in a dojo. We're not talking like an hour or an hour and a half at a gym. We're talking 8 hours of training.
Yeah, so it's quite a high volume.
Yeah, absolutely.
Food.
We're talking a lot of noodles or a lot of water, or keeping everyone happy, and usually followed by a big bottle of beer and then straight to bed.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, which is great.
Interesting.
This is beautiful. This is probably my favorite salmon. This is really good sashimi. This is really good.
Salmon?
And it cuts like a dream. It's just beautiful. So that's come to the boil. I'm just going to skim this and just get all this scum off there. It's going really hard, which is good. So I'm just going to drop it now to a simmer. And then you just go back and skim it every so often. Okay. It's obviously a lot longer with chicken or beef or lamb because they're larger bones and there's more gelatin to extract.
Oh, okay.
So that's why those stocks take like 6, 8 hours, 10 hours plus.
Okay.
Whereas this one, as I said, it's a fish one, smaller bones,
Takes
less
about
to get
an
out.
hour-ish.
Yeah. And it's the odours of the fish are more predominant than the chicken and stuff is.
Yeah.
So that's why it takes a little bit less time.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a garlic clove here, and I'm just putting some kimchi on there. And we're going to use the rest of this kimchi later. So,
God.
Christ.
Well, okay, you didn't tell me you put garlic in there.
What was in there before?
It's beautiful. That's a nice.
All right.
I can smell it.
All right. Have you ever minced anything before? Can you put the knife
Okay.
Whenever we mince something,
Yes.
you got to make sure your mincer attachment. I like to keep it in the freezer for as long as you can. But
Oh.
if your dog's
Because it
got
gets
half an
warm,
hour-
doesn't it?
Exactly.
that's
And you
a
want
good
everything that goes through the mincer. You want to go through fast.
Yes.
Because like when we spoke about the pasta dressing before, too much heat onto something that's not supposed to have heat is going to affect it and deteriorate it faster. You want to keep it as fresh as possible, just like you ate it with the sashimi.
It was blood beautiful.
There's blood beautiful, mate. All the garlic's in here and the kimchi, that's all going in, straight in. We're going to use this
Yeah.
to bind it all.
Okay.
And to dry it up a little bit because it's really wet right now. I'm going to leave that away. Now we're going to put an egg white in there too, just to help bind
Where are
it.
your eggs from?
These are free range from bird eggs. So you see this mix here?
Yes.
It's nice. It's a bit dry. It's dried up a fair bit and it's nice and firm. That's what you're looking at now. Don't do massive balls. We want to cook them within a couple of minutes. All right, because this fish is what you love about it is that a little bit bigger. Probably like a 50-cent piece. What's it knife for? You even asked me. So go by the diameter of a 50-cent piece. They should cook within.
In here?
Yeah, in there. Beautiful.
I'm good at balls.
Have you
Hey, can they
made
be
this
consistent
before?
sizes?
Yeah,
Consistent,
heaps.
consistent,
Oh, you have?
consistent,
So
consistent.
did you used to make this
All the
for
same size.
yourself?
Yes.
And would you
That's bigger than this ball. It's going to cook 2 different ways.
would you specifically use
Don't make me
like
throw this ball.
salmon?
No, we
Or what was the main meat?
chicken.
Chicken.
Can you get into a ball? That's a rectangle, man. This guy. So I'm just gonna pinch some of this stock in here to cook it into because I want this to stay nice and clear. Once you put all those balls in there, the water's gonna go really cloudy. The stock's gonna go really cloudy. Sorry. So you need probably a liter or so, half a liter. All right. So balls are going in.
Yes.
You can actually make it when you place them nice. You gotta put. Stop looking at me like that, you weirdo. Just let me cook. Let me live my life.
Were you
Now,
yelling at me?
Because salmon cooks very fast, or faster than chicken or beef or something does. You got to. These aren't going to be in here for long. Your balls aren't going to be submerged down for long.
Okay.
Let's assemble. You ready? You're going to do the veg. We're going to get rid of this because we've got no more veg to cut. These are cooking nicely. There's just a simmer. They don't have to be on high. You don't want boiling rapidly, or you're going to destroy the balls. What? Gentles, and just give it a bit of a shake. A little bit of a shake. What?
I'm
You got
just, I'm just talking.
All we've done is cook some brown rice here. It's just plain stock standard brown rice. I promise in this
No salt, no nothing?
0. There's enough salt happening everywhere else. We're going to season it again now anyway.
Yeah, think about
All
it.
I've done here is put a little bit of baking paper underneath just so it doesn't stick to the bottom. No one likes a sticky bottom. Alright, so we're just going to dress this
Bit of
nice.
wombok.
Bit of wombok. Get it in there.
You call me up, I'm not doing nothing.
Make it nice.
I'm trying my best.
Alright, good. That's all I can ask. Stop yelling at me. The balls look good.
They do
So
look
they're nice. They're still firm.
Yeah.
They're not this, they're not.
What-
they're not like bullets. If they're like bullets, you've overcooked them. So you want it just a little bit, just undercooked in the middle, because then you're dealing with salmon.
I'm a little bit full from the salmon before, so I don't know who's going to eat all this.
So we're just straining this, and look how clear it is. Beautiful. Or you can let this go for another half an hour or so if you want, but this is a good amount of time. And then the heat from all this broth is going to cook all your raw veg and reheat your brown rice if it's been cold.
When talking about this from a nutrition perspective, heavyweight athletes have to bulk up, so they have to eat a lot more. Normally what I recommend is they have to eat up to 5 meals a day, a lot based around carbohydrates and protein. So when it comes to carb loading for athletes, it's really important for athletes that are doing events or games that last longer than 90 minutes.